Eleanor and I will be arguing that America doesn't need a mandatory military service and it wouldn't be beneficial. Daniel was talking about how the military will basically build character. This could be true, but when people are forced to do things, then they might rebel. This can be a problem in the military because of things like this Major Scott H. Newkirk says. When people are forced to do something they don't want to, they keep a bad attitude about it, and it rubs off on the rest of the troops. And so it makes it an unenjoyable experience for everyone. A small percentage of soldiers develop shell shock when they come back, and that can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. The symptoms of shell shock are kind of like, it's partly depression, where they just don't want to get up, they don't want to do anything. They can relive the same military attacks every day of their life in their heads, of course. And this can lead to outbursts in society. It can lead to violence. If there is a mandatory military service and people don't want to, they'll rebel, like I said. And it can damage America's reputation because there's these anti-establishment people all around the world in foreign countries, and their anti-American attitudes can rub off on the countries that we're trying to help, like right now, we're trying to help Iraq, and then that's going to make it even more disadvantaged. The general morale of the military can suffer just because there's so many bad attitudes there. The education issue is, I think it's misunderstood a lot. Yes, there is a GI Bill that helps soldiers that come back that are on leave or just out of the Army permanently, and it helps them pay for college. But unless you're serving for the military for 3 or more years, then you won't get a full ride to any school you want to. And if you're there for more than 3 years, the GI Bill will pay for $1,321 a month just for tuition. And if you're in the military less than 3 years, which is what we would be saying, we're saying a year, then you only get about $1,000 a month, but still that can pretty much could pay for this school easily, and it's going to cost the government a lot more money. Those figures were from the GI Bill website. It's not cost effective to say that the military will help education, because they're gonna have to pay so much money for every single person eventually to go to school, and there's no incentive to stay in the military any longer than a year if you are going for the education benefits, because you'd have to stay 2 more years just to get $300 more a month. At any given time, about 10 to 15% of Americans are between the ages of 18 and 25. This is about 30 to 45 million people. This is from the census report from 2000, but I calculated the numbers to correlate to this year. This isn't needed because it only takes about 300,000 recruits every year to maintain a force of 2.2 million people. This is according to an American government article. Also, unemployment is high right now. It's about 11%, and since it is so high, the recruiting goals have all been met because people can't get jobs, so why not go into the military when you're guaranteed a job pretty much unless you have a disability. Because of this increase, the Army has raised its enlistment age from 35 to 42. So obviously there is an interest in the military system. Also, an article on information.com talks about how there isn't a need for America to have a mandatory military because all the countries that do, like Israel, Greece, smaller countries have enemies on their borders, so they need the protection. Whereas America, it already has a strong military. It doesn't need help, and it doesn't need to be expanding right now.